What happens when a quiet janitor is belittled by a wealthy woman who thinks he's beneath her? In a stunning twist, the very man she insulted returns as the new owner of the building, leaving her speechless and everyone else in awe. This is a story about humility, respect, and how never judging someone based on their job or appearance can lead to the most surprising turn of events. The office complex at 1215 Park Avenue stood as a gleaming beacon of luxury, a prestigious address for the city's wealthiest professionals. Inside, the polished marble floors reflected the hustle and bustle of a corporate world where power, money, and status reigned supreme. The air was filled with the click-clack of high heels and the hum of busy conversations as executives, lawyers, and consultants moved through the halls. It was a world of glass walls and sleek boardrooms, a place where the people in suits dictated the rhythm of daily life. Among them, invisible to most, was Michael, the building's janitor. A quiet, middle-aged man with worn work boots and a faded uniform, he moved through the corridors with practiced ease, sweeping floors, taking out trash, and quietly attending to the needs of the office space. He had been here for years, never seeking attention, always going about his work with diligence and a subtle humility. To the professionals who inhabited the building, Michael was nothing more than a part of the background, an unremarkable fixture that kept the building running smoothly, but rarely, if ever, noticed. Then there was Karen, an affluent businesswoman who worked on the top floor. With her sharp designer clothes and haughty demeanor, Karen was the epitome of entitlement. She regularly made her demands known, expecting special treatment, and never hesitating to belittle anyone she considered beneath her, especially the staff. Michael had long been a target of her condescending remarks, though he never reacted, until today. It was a particularly busy morning when Karen stormed into the building lobby, her heels clicking sharply on the marble floors. She had a look of frustration on her face, eyes scanning the area as if expecting perfection. A small spill of coffee, barely noticeable to anyone else, had spread onto the polished surface near the elevator. But to Karen, it was an unforgivable flaw in the otherwise immaculate lobby. She scowled and immediately turned to Michael, who was busy wiping down a nearby window. "Ugh, how did this happen? This place is supposed to be spotless," she snapped, her voice sharp with irritation. "Don't you people ever do your job properly?" Michael glanced over at the spill and nodded politely. "I'll take care of it, ma'am," he replied, his voice calm and composed. Karen, already seething, crossed her arms and took a step closer, eyes narrowing. "Of course you will. You're just a janitor, aren't you? You people are always cleaning up after everyone else's mess. Can't even keep a lobby clean." She sneered, as if she were speaking to someone beneath her. "Do you even know what it's like to work in a real job, or is this your whole life? How pathetic." Michael remained unfazed, quietly reaching for his cleaning supplies. But Karen wasn't finished. "You probably don't even have a high school education, do you? It's no surprise you're stuck here, cleaning floors and doing everyone else's dirty work." Her words stung, but Michael kept his gaze steady, responding only with a polite nod. He had learned long ago not to engage with such cruelty. But as Karen walked away, her words lingered in the air, a reminder of how some people saw the world and him. As Karen huffed off, satisfied with her cruel little victory, she didn't notice Michael slipping into a small corner of the lobby to make a quiet phone call. His demeanor was calm, controlled. He was used to being overlooked, to remaining out of the spotlight. But today was different. Michael's conversation was brief, his tone businesslike as he confirmed the final details of a significant transaction. Once the call ended, he tucked his phone away and gathered his cleaning supplies, but instead of returning to his usual routine, he made his way to the elevator. Upstairs, in a sleek, private office, Michael was greeted by a group of professionals waiting for him. He walked in confidently, his casual attire standing in stark contrast to the formal suits around him. His calm presence seemed to command attention, and the people in the room stood up as he took a seat at the head of the table. The meeting began. Meanwhile, Karen remained blissfully unaware of the change happening behind the scenes. She breezed through her day, glancing at the staff with her usual air of superiority, never once questioning the world she believed was her domain. She continued her condescending remarks to the employees, still looking down on them, especially the janitors and maintenance staff. It wasn't until later in the afternoon that the news broke. Michael, the quiet janitor she had insulted just hours before, had just purchased the entire building. He was now the new owner. The staff, including Karen, were stunned, unable to believe what they had just learned. The shift in power left everyone speechless. The following day, the building hummed with its usual routine, unaware of the seismic shift that had taken place. Michael, once the invisible janitor, walked through the lobby with a new air of confidence, his posture straight, his stride purposeful. Gone were the worn work boots and faded uniform. Today, he was dressed in a sharp, tailored suit, a striking contrast to the humble man he had been just yesterday. He no longer had to blend into the background, he was the one in charge now. As he entered the lobby, Karen was at her desk, oblivious to his arrival. She was typing furiously on her computer, completely consumed by her work. Michael, however, was already aware of her presence as he made his way across the lobby, the sound of his footsteps echoing in the quiet space. When he passed Karen's office, he paused. She looked up from her screen, her eyes widening in surprise when she saw him standing at the door. With a calm, almost serene smile, Michael stepped forward. "Good afternoon, Karen," he said, his voice smooth but firm. "I'm Michael, the new owner of the building." Karen's face drained of color as the truth sank in. She stammered, attempting to salvage the situation. I didn't know. I didn't realize." Michael raised a hand, cutting her off. "It's okay. There's no need for apologies," he said softly, but his eyes were hard. "You didn't know who I really was, but that doesn't excuse how you treated me. I hope you remember that next time you look down on someone." With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Karen in stunned silence. She was speechless, her arrogant facade shattered by the reality of her own ignorance. The news of Michael's new ownership spread quickly throughout the building, rippling through the halls like a wave. At first, no one could believe it. The quiet janitor, the one they had all seen but never truly noticed, was now the one in charge. It was a shock to everyone, especially to those like Karen who had so easily dismissed him as just a janitor. The realization hit hard. They had all underestimated him, failing to see the depth of his intelligence, his ambition, and his true worth. Michael wasted no time in making his mark. He began implementing changes that immediately improved the building's atmosphere. New policies were introduced to ensure fair treatment for all employees, from the janitors to the executives. The environment became more inclusive and respectful, with attention paid to the needs of everyone who worked there. Michael's leadership was calm but firm, and it was clear that he valued integrity and kindness above all. For Karen, the humiliation was unbearable. She watched as the building's staff began to flourish under Michael's new direction, their spirits lifted, their work more productive. She, on the other hand, found herself increasingly isolated. Her old ways of belittling others were no longer tolerated, and the realization of how wrong she had been about Michael gnawed at her. Her regret deepened with each passing day. The quiet janitor's powerful comeback had taught the building's employees an invaluable lesson in humility, and for Karen, that lesson would be impossible to forget. She had underestimated a man, and in doing so had learned the hardest lesson of all: never judge a book by its cover. The story of Michael, the janitor turned building owner, is a powerful reminder not to underestimate anyone based on their job, appearance, or background. In a world where we often measure a person's worth by their position in society, Michael's transformation challenges this shallow view. He was always more than just a janitor. His quiet dedication, hard work, and intelligence were qualities that set him apart, even if no one had bothered to notice. This story teaches us that everyone deserves kindness and respect, regardless of their role or status. The way Karen treated Michael, with contempt and condescension, was a stark example of how easily we can dismiss others based on superficial judgments. But Michael's rise to power proves that people should never be judged by the work they do or the clothes they wear. Beneath every surface there is potential, and often it is hidden in plain sight. Michael's journey also brings a sense of justice. He wasn't seeking revenge, but rather an opportunity to show that hard work, integrity, and humility can lead to success, even when others try to hold you down. His success isn't just a personal victory. It's one that empowers everyone around him. The staff now sees how important it is to treat others with respect, no matter their job title. And Karen learns, too, that real power doesn't come from belittling others. It comes from lifting them up. Michael's transformation from janitor to building owner leaves behind a legacy of empowerment, humility, and fairness.